we're talking the Portland Trailblazers. They lose by winning last night. Their draft lottery odds, they're probably locked into that 4th or 5th spot now.
You're probably 5 now, to be honest.
Reaching for 3 that's going to be a tough putt for you. But as it stands right now, the teams that, if you're saying the Blazers are going to be 5th in the lottery odds, you would have teams with better lottery odds: Detroit, Washington, San Antonio, and Charlotte. Okay, those are the 4 teams, and it's very unlikely that, when you just look at how the lottery works now with the percentages, it's highly unlikely Toronto, Memphis, Utah, those make the jump. But we're talking about, because there's a lot of people that are very upset. We saw it on, Twitter last night. You see it on the fan text line, 503-864-6326, the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. They're saying, oh, great, now the Blazers are going to get stuck in a position where they're going to have to draft another guard. I don't believe that that's going to be the position that the Blazers take, because of the fact that they're not, that's not, they literally can't do it anymore.
That's not tenable. The only way they could draft a guard is if on draft night, let's say they trade 2 of Anthony Simons, Scoot Henderson, Malcolm Brogdon.
Okay. So I'm at tankathon.com right now. I'm going to hit the old lottery sim. Great. So right after I say it's highly unlikely teams like Toronto, Memphis, and Utah make the jump, the Utah Jazz have jumped 7 spots and will be selecting number 1 according to my Tankathon sim lottery here.
And the Blazers fall back?
The Charlotte Hornets jump up to 2nd.
Okay.
The Wizards drop to 3rd. The Blazers, winner, chicken dinner.
4th is not a bad spot.
It's
not a bad spot to be.
With Detroit and San Antonio behind them. So if we just look in at the surface level, just like with the lottery being what it is right now, if that were to happen, okay, let's say, okay, where does a team like Utah, if they are the number 1 pick, what direction do they go? They got Lauri Markkanen.
Mm-hmm.
They have
Deontay George. What
is next with the building for Danny Ainge? And look, you want to talk about a deal with the devil? I actually feel like this is going to happen now because it's Danny friggin' Ainge.
That he trades back out of the spot and gets something out of this.
Well, not that he trades, that he just wins the lottery and gets a perennial all-star.
I mean, you take a look at the way that Utah is built right now. The scuttlebutt around the league is that they're just standing ready for in case Luka wants out of Dallas.
They got Keontae George, Colin Sexton, Bryce Sensabaugh, Taylor Hendricks, John Collins,
Lauri Markkanen,
Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, Jordan Clarkson.
Of the guys that matter for them long term, Taylor Hendricks, Lauri Markkanen, Keontae George. That's probably the list.
All right.
So if you're talking about what do they need?
They go big or small forward?
I think Keontae's more of a hybrid guard, so I think they could probably look at a point guard type.
And is that guy a number 1 overall pick in this draft?
No, but Kevin O'Connor, who is at the Ringer a couple weeks ago, had Reed Shepherd number 1 on his board. And let me tell you, a white point guard in Utah, ladies and gentlemen,
it's a jersey
and
seller.
the crowd goes wild.
That's a jersey seller. That's a jersey seller.
Have you seen that bowl cut?
So you're saying they got a type?
I'm just saying. Peyton Pritchard's doing pretty well in Boston. So,
Okay.
Throwing that out there. But I could see them going. I could see them going with Reed Shepherd. I could also see them taking a swing. I mean, do they want to be more athletic? They could go at Alex Sarr. If they think, Lowry can be kind of 3-4-y and doesn't really matter, they just want to put more shooting on the floor, they could go Zach Riesesche. But I could see them taking Reed Shepherd 1.
Okay. You could see that being...
Yeah, I could see that happening.
All right.
Reed or Topic. I could see either one of those going 1.
Who is a...
6'6" Goran Dragic is what you're thinking of.
Okay. Then you have... Second in this draft would be the Charlotte Hornets in this situation where, look, they've got a ton of holes.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to kind of see how this would go because I think you can slot Miller 2 or 3 kind of going forward. Paul Georgie.
Okay.
That's the guy he looks up to, and if he can put a little bit of weight on and get a little bit stronger, you could see him playing 3 and maybe even up to 4 into small ball lineups. And I think you complement him with even more shooting. I think you go get Riza Shea.
Okay, so Riza Shea, who's 6'9" small forward out of France.
Yep. Hey, hell, he's actually. I've talked to a few folks that have seen him recently. He's 6'10" plus.
Okay.
So
in the Washington, void of talent.
They could go anywhere, any direction, and I would imagine if he fell to him like this, I think they would take Sarr.
Okay, the 7'1", just absolute
athletic freak
of nature. He's been playing in Australia. He's a French guy.
His defensive tools profile as a guy slotted somewhere between Evan Mobley and Jaren Jackson.
Okay, so in this situation, if you're going Sarr's off the board, Riza Shea's off the board, Reed Shepherd's off the board, that would leave the Portland Trailblazers sitting at 4th with, if you look at where a lot of the projections have, the next best available players are Topic, who's a point guard, Rob Dillingham, who's a point guard, Klingon, Castle's point guard at
he's
shooting guard at UConn.
Yeah.
And then Cody Williams, a small forward from Colorado,
who's 6'8",
and then Matis Buzelis, who is a small forward G leaguer,
6'9", 6'10".
Okay, where would Portland go there?
If gun to my head, Cody Williams.
Okay,
the thing about Cody is, I think his profile's great. He's gonna be a project.
He'll be 20 years old.
He's gonna be a project.
Okay, now with the two teams that we said were in front of him, we also have to remember that the Blazers also hold Golden State's first-round pick, which you're looking at anywhere from like 12 to, if they make the tournament and they make the playoffs, then they'll be like 15 or 16. There's that range right there. 12 to 16. Either Charlotte or Washington, because of the amount of holes that they have, do you think that the Blazers would be able to flip their 2 first-round picks to move up 1 or 2 spots?
In a much better draft, the Celtics and 76ers traded spots from 1 to 3 for essentially swapping picks and a future first. That was the cost. 2 lottery picks in this draft, good God. You should skyrocket up. So think about it this way. Kevin Pelton from ESPN, he has a draft slot value chart, and it changes from year to year. Let's just say, I'm going away from his numbers to simplify this, that your normal average, like very good number 1 overall pick in most drafts, not this draft, is worth 1,000 points. Okay. And then it goes down accordingly based on historical evidence. Let's say it's 950 at 2, 850 at 3, and it gets wider and wider and wider as it goes. Okay. I've talked to 9, 10 GMs over the season, asking them where the number 1 this year would go in any other draft. And I'd say the average is probably 4.5.
Oh, whoa.
So that means your normal 1,000 point number 1 is now a 750. Okay. And if the draft slot value that you have with your number 4 pick is 700 and their pick is 750 right in front of you, should you also have to give up another lottery pick that, even if it's further back, let's say it flattens out, let's say it gets to 600 and the players from 5 to 15 are all the same, should you give up double value? Or could the Blazers give up their first? Let's say that they want to move 1 spot to go get Sarr, and the Wizards are like, we need everything. So, but let's save them a little bit of money. They give up their first second-round pick, which right now looks like it's going to be 33rd, 34th, which is essentially a late first. But it comes with non-guarantees, and the second-round pick value stuff is going to really start to grow in this new CBA. So it'll be interesting to see what about if we give you our first to swap, and also basically a late first, early second for doing some business.
And what you would see is Portland is right now, they would be slotted at 34th.
There you go.
They also hold the 40th pick.
Hell, give them both
round.
seconds if that's what it takes.
But this also, when you have a roster that is so void of talent, Washington also has the 26th pick from the Clippers too. That would give them 3 first-round picks if you were to give them both, if that's what it took to get there. But you're saying it could be
that's probably a little rich.
you just kind of flip and you say, and the Blazers aren't trying to get younger either.
No.
Like, that should be noted in all of this, is that there may be a willingness to overpay to move up 1 or 2 spots because you don't necessarily need those picks.
No, but I also think that they may try to take that Warriors pick and pair it with a Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
And go make a deal.
There we go.
So,
If
you can hold on to that capital that's worth a little bit more, it is more valuable for you to do that. But you can get through the exercise pretty quickly and go, and here's the thing. This year, boards are going to be more different 1 through 10 than probably at any point in my adult life. I'm not kidding. Right. That's not an over-exaggeration. Like, that's the stuff that the intel. A perfect example. I've got Tijon Saloon, the French prospect, number 5 on my board, because I think his upside is one of the highest, but it's also one of the most volatile. One of the guys that I really trust, he's got him like number 28 because of the volatility. But it depends on what your willingness is to risk that volatility. And I think the Blazers are in a position right now, because they don't have a cornerstone guy, because they don't have that guy that they can like write home about, that they're more willing to risk the swing. Remember, Shaedon Sharpe was a swing. Yeah. He did not play college. The only time the last basketball he had played before he played for the Trailblazers was in the EYBL. Okay? Like, that's a big swing. And hell, Scoot is a big swing. It is. And so this franchise right now, this front office, they are looking at taking big swings in the draft. Like, Rupert is a project, but he is a big swing. Now, he was drafted further out, but he had a lottery grade. Like, the way that they have gone about building this team and like the things that they want to do from the inside out is take a risk, because they were so risk averse for so long.
And I'm okay with that. I have run the draft simulator 10 times. For those saying that the Blazers probably going to drop down like they did when they had the 5th best odds and they ended up with Shaedon Sharpe. I've run the simulator 10 times. One time they moved up to 4th, which is the first one. That was good.
Yeah.
Twice they moved down to 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And then 7 times they dropped 2 spots to 7th.
Oof.
All right.
And then in that case, then you maybe have to pair both lottery picks together.
Look, I think that this has been a good conversation, just because it kind of shows not all hope is lost in winning that game last night and losing a little bit of the draft lottery odds, because look at what the teams ahead of Portland are going to be needing and what they're going to be coveting in the draft, and in the idea that take some swings, man. You're not going to see a guard. I feel very comfortable you're not going to see a guard.
Yeah,
famous last words.
I would be shocked again, unless there's a massive change in the backcourt rotation through trade, that they would take a guard.
Oh, Nelly.